Now, it seems that Trump and the Patriots, they are putting everything in place to bring the storm. Trump has been changing everything up very, very quickly. Q has been dark for 12 days. Q has ended the silence and has now surfaced. Q was dark for a specific reason. They were on the hunt. We'll be talking about that in just a moment. First, let's talk about what has been happening with Joe Biden. And we know that he has been giving speeches. He messes up and forgets what he's saying. It looks like he has mental problems. He's not all there. And the Trump War Room with Dan Scavino, they put up a video of Joe Biden. And in this video, it says, "We cannot win this re-election," and this is Joe Biden saying it, "We can only re-elect Donald Trump." Just take a listen to what he said.
Primary from a campaign that's about negative attacks into one about what we're for, because we cannot get re-elect. We cannot win this re-election. Excuse me. We can only re-elect Donald Trump.
So you heard Biden say this, and Twitter, with their new policies, they said that this was a manipulated video, but it was not. Even the New York Times tweeted out the following: "A manipulated video featuring Joe Biden and spread by Trump over the weekend has ratcheted up an online war that has put Twitter and Facebook in the middle of a debate over political speech." And then everyone started to come out and say, "No, you're wrong. This is not a manipulated video. This is a true video, and this is exactly what he said." We had Mike Hahn come out and say, "This video was not manipulated. It was a short clip of what Biden actually said. Look forward to an explanation from TwitterGov on how this is manipulated media. Twitter said they will label a video manipulated if it's substantially edited, visual audio is added, removed, video is fabricated, simulated." The clip at Dan Scavino posted was a real clip. Dan Scavino tweeted out, "The video was not manipulated." So Twitter is just saying that it's manipulated without actually checking. Now, this is kind of ridiculous because they're going to be putting labels on all different things. How do you trust something like this? You can't. And why are they saying it's manipulated? Why don't they admit this is what he said? Think about that. Now, what's very interesting is that we had this judge out there, Judge Walton. He accused Barr of rushing a public summary of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report on Russia collusion to the public prior to its full release, while keeping sections redacted, omitting key information that Walton argues contributed to a narrative that is clearly, in some respects, substantially at odds with the redacted version of the Mueller report. And of course, this is just all ginned up. We know the special counsel was involved in the redactions. We know what they're trying to push for. They want the grand jury information that Weissman has set up. And a spokesperson for the Department of Justice rejected Walton's claim as a contrary to the facts and noted that the redactions made in the final report were decided in part by members of the special counsel's own team. Optics are very important. Trump and the Patriots knew that this might come up later and wanted Mueller involved. He stayed on. So did Rod Rosenstein. They stayed on purpose. They were involved in this. And this whole thing is going to be a dead end. Now, it looks like out in Afghanistan, the troops are now being withdrawn. And American troops, they have begun leaving Afghanistan for the initial troop withdrawal required in the U.S. Taliban peace agreement. Hundreds of troops are heading out of the country, and they're going to take it from 13,000 to 8,600, and more is on the way. We're going to have peace in Afghanistan. We're going to have peace in Syria, Libya, Lebanon. Every place the deep state, the central bank pushed endless wars, we are going to see peace. Now, as we can see today, the mainstream media, the corrupt politicians, and everyone else, they are pushing this coronavirus agenda like there's no tomorrow. And we know that there are many different agendas associated with this. And very interestingly, Hillary Clinton tweeted out, and you can see that they're panicking right now. She said everybody from president on down needs to be focused on two things: how to prevent the spread of this virus as much as possible. Number 2, how to support state and local officials, hospitals, doctors, and nurses so they can take care of the seriously ill. How to support state and local, which means funding. They're looking for more funding. Remember Governor Cuomo complaining that he wasn't receiving the funding that he wanted? California declared a state of emergency because they want funding. We have Maggie Haberman from the New York Times. This is significant. Top health officials say the country is moving into mitigation and past containment. What are they pushing for? A global pandemic. They're pushing to bring this entire economic system down and blame it on Trump. If you notice, all the articles that are coming out, they are pushing it towards Trump is not doing the right thing. He's not doing anything at all. The economy's falling apart. This is their agenda. Now, what's very interesting is we're starting to see the mainstream media start to backtrack on their stories. And this is what they do because they understand that what's coming is going to reverse everything. So they start to backtrack on everything that they've been saying. Now, this is out of ABC News. It says early mortality rates for coronavirus are likely misleading. Children and adults have done extremely well in terms of recovery. It's possible that COVID-19, which is coronavirus, isn't as fatal as most people think. And stockpiling hand sanitizer and masks could hurt people who are truly at risk, the elderly and those with weak immune systems. So they're already projecting out there that, well, maybe this isn't as fatal as we've been reporting. Well, they're the ones who've been pushing fear. Now, what's very interesting about all of this, remember, Trump and Q has told us that the heat is going to bring change, that this spring and summer are going to be hot. And all of a sudden, it seems that there are scientists, a Chinese researcher, who's looking at COVID-19 and noticed that COVID-19 has a sweet spot. And for COVID-19 to spread, it has been discovered by a Chinese researcher that the temperatures have to be between 8.7 degrees Celsius or about 47.7 degrees Fahrenheit. So a team from Sun Yat-sen University published their findings on the virus and temperature last month, and they're awaiting peer review. They did suggest that heat could play a significant role in how the virus behaves. Temperatures could significantly change COVID-19 transmission, and there might be a best temperature for viral transmission. The virus is highly sensitive to high temperatures. This could help it from spreading in warmer countries. Think about this for a second. Trump told us the heat will calm everything down. Q has told us that this is going to be a very hot spring and summer. The mainstream media is starting to backtrack now, saying, well, maybe it's not as bad as we said it was going to be. We also have in April a vaccine that is going to be used on humans. Put all this together. What happens in the spring? Everything starts to fall apart. Trump doesn't say these things just to say them. He knows the deep state playbook. He knows how this is going to play out. And this is why they're pushing so hard right now. We are now in the middle of March. They don't have much time. But let's look at the coronavirus agenda. Weaken Trump, crash the economy, have the country turn on him when everything falls apart, bring in the person waiting in the shadows, team up with Hillary Clinton to go against Trump in the 2020 election. Actually, Hillary Clinton just tweeted out, for 72 years, at Time named a Man of the Year. For their 100 Women of the Year project, they chose some new faces to highlight, and I'm honored to be included alongside 99 remarkable women. She's pushing her agenda. She's getting prepared to enter the race. But all of this is failing. Trump is going to turn the economy around. The markets will rise. The Fed will cut rate. They'll push stimulus. Trump will show the country that the Fed is a follower, doesn't know how to run the economy at all. In the process of fear and panic, Globalist model is destroyed. Supply chains being renegotiated. Europe now rethinking China's supply chains. Oil prices are falling. We're detaching from the petrodollar. The U.S. is energy independent. The U.S. will mine its own rare earth minerals, no longer dependent on China. New trade deals are being negotiated. Immigration policies set forth by the Trump administration show that they work. They protected the U.S. The wall protected the U.S. Trump was not weakened. He has been made stronger. He saved the economy, got rid of coronavirus. Minimum number of people infected and died. The economy now is getting stronger and stronger. The entire shift is now coming. And we'll be talking about that a little bit later. Let's get into Q's posts here. Q posted out 3891. Now, this is a Q proof. And remember, Dan Scavino tweeted out this meme, and it's Trump playing the violin. And it says, my next piece is called Nothing Can Stop What Is Coming. And it shows that Trump later tweeted this out 17 hours later. Why did Trump tweet this out? Well, someone on the board said, Q+, please retweet Dan on this one. What did Trump do? He listened and he retweeted it. 17 hours later. What's the 17th letter of the alphabet? Q. This was done on purpose. Actually, this whole entire JPEG is paincoming.jpg. So someone on the 8 Coon boards where Q drops the posts asks Q to have Trump retweet Dan Scavino's tweet, and Trump did it. Under this it says, nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing. Rig for red. Now, we've heard this before, and rig for red is normally a command used in the control room. It is normally used when the boat is going to be surfacing or coming to periscope depth at night. The purpose is to give the lookouts and the officer designated to head to the bridge upon surfacing a chance for their eyes to adjust in darkness, or the OOD to the same thing before looking through the periscope. However, with the change to blue, oftentimes red glasses are also used to provide the same effect, and then control is changed when the command is given to surface or come to periscope depth. Q is letting us know that the days of silence is over. Let's move on to post 3892. This is a Twitter link to Real Donald Trump. Now, Trump tweeted out the following. The Obama-Biden administration is the most corrupt administration in the history of our country. Now, what has Obama and Biden been saying? That there had been no corruption, no anything going on while they were in office. Trump is saying the exact opposite. Under this, it says silent running is a tactic when used. So silent running in a submarine. Silent running is a stealth mode of operation for naval submarines. The aim is to evade discovery by passive sonar by eliminating superfluous noise. Non-essential systems are shut down, the crew is urged to rest and refrain from making any unnecessary sound, and speed is greatly reduced to minimize propeller noise. The propellers have a characteristic RPM band in which no cavitation noise arises. Since this rotation speed is usually relatively low, the first electronic submarines had special silent running engines designed for optimum performance at reduced speed. These required less active cooling for the reducing noise, and were generally equipped with plain bearings rather than ball bearings. These engines were also acoustically decoupled from the hull, as they employed belt transmission rather than direct coupling to the propeller shaft. Nuclear submarines can run even more quietly, at very low speeds only, by turning off active reactor cooling during silent running. The reactor is then only cooled by natural convection of the water. When hunting for enemy subs, they go into silent mode. What is Q, Trump, and the Patriots doing? They are hunting the deep state players. They've been running in silent mode. Let's move on to post 3893. Q gives us a Twitter link to Rainbow Fairy 12, and it says, I've made an attempt to gather as many Q-related photographs from around the world as I can. Anons with signs standing alone, all with identifiable landscape, architecture, location. This is not about Trump rallies. That's a different thread. And in this, it shows pictures from around the world, people holding Q, the letter Q on different parts of the landscape, and you see tons of it. And under this, it says, per mainstream media, fake news. And fake news is in brackets and bold. Person in the basement, LARP, who simply asked questions on a forum. Image board, that's in brackets and bold, that generated continued massive thousands. Mainstream media attacks and worldwide movement. Great awakening, and that is in bold with brackets around it. Logical thinking. Back channels are important when the news itself is untrustworthy. Controlled, brackets and bold around controlled. Where we go one, we go all. Letting us know that the fake news is out there pushing as much fake news as they possibly can. And there are corrupt politicians that are going along with this. This is the deep state plan. The only thing they don't realize is that it has already failed. Let's move on to post 3894. Q says God wins, letting us know that they already understand the playbook of the deep state. Everything is about to change. Remember Sun Tzu, appear weak when you are strong and strong when you are weak. Trump and the Patriots, they allowed this to happen. They wanted everything that the deep state, the mainstream media, the central bank plan, they wanted them to push this entire event forward. Because we discussed their agenda. Trump knew that this was going to benefit him in the end. It will allow him to show the world that what he's doing with the economy was to protect everyone from something like this. The other thing is, he's detached himself from Obama. That was brilliant. Remember, Obama said that this is his economy. He's the one who made the economy great. Now, the economy just fell apart because the mainstream media is telling us it's falling apart. We're entering a recession. The market's taking a dive. Everything looks dark. Trump is going to take this disastrous market, this disastrous economy, and build it back up. It detaches him from Obama. It was a brilliant move. Plus, it shows he can overcome coronavirus or any other disease. It shows that he's in full control of the economy. It also shows that all the fear-mongering, all the panic was brought on by the mainstream media. And all those people that said that Trump wasn't doing enough, that he wasn't doing anything, he was allowing this to happen, that, coronavirus is just not going to go away in the spring. All those stories, everything that they were saying is going to turn out to be fake. And everything that Trump was saying is going to turn out to be absolutely true. Remember, the Patriots already knew the playbook. They knew how this was going to play out. Get ready. Q has just surfaced. It is now go time. And they're not sitting back and allowing the mainstream media, the deep state, to push their agenda anymore. The tables are now being turned. And we're going to see something completely different happen. And the mainstream media, the corrupt politicians, they're going to be scrambling. What happens when all of this goes away? Trump will become stronger than ever. Their plan to bring in the shadow candidate, their plan to do all this is going to be countered right now. We're heading in to the spring. The deep state, they're running out of time. Trump and the Patriots, they know this. They're getting ready to strike. Wait for it. Why? Because nothing can stop this.